Welcome, men, women, children of all ages. Welcome to the Big Top Circus Arena. Last week we started doing some of the prep work to get chisels sharp. And I mentioned, this kind of stuff was prep work. Well, it's all prep work. I mean, nobody wants to sharpen anything. I don't imagine. There might be a few. But we've got to get stuff sharp to do what we want to do. So it's all prep work. Last week we did our what's going to work as our sharpening plates on the cheap here, our glass, and used adhesive spray to get the right grits down of silicone. And I mentioned we had our shelf liner stuff, and that keeps you from sliding around. So we're ready to roll. Alright, so we got it set up here. They do make a lapping fluid, and a lapping fluid is just it's all it is something to take your metal shavings away. You're braiding the metal of these chisels, and you want them, kind of out of the way. Like I say, they do make one. It costs money, of course, and you can do this with water. You can do it with glass cleaner. I'm told works really well. I've only tried this, but it works good for me. So we'll kind of saturate our sandpaper here. What we want to do first, this is the back side of the chisel, and we want to get that flat. And you really only need, just a little bit. Hopefully, in most cases, this part will be concave, meaning it'll be hollowed out, and that's fine. You don't have to take that out. If it's convex, now you got a little bit of a concern. You'll have to take it. The idea here is flat as possible, and especially on this cutting edge right here on the end. So keeping it exactly flat, you just work that away. Let's see what we got here, if anything yet. Not much yet. What we've got, I've done that, I don't know, I didn't count it, maybe 30 times or so, 40 times. This one is pretty flat. From the factory you can see the difference there in what's been abraded and what hasn't. When I did this this 1/4 inch one, you can see the difference right here. Like I said, you just need that tip. As long as you're concave here, that's fine. So I've stepped up a grade. I've gone to the 400 now, and we're still flat. I mean, I think we're in good shape here. You can keep going. It's, how flat is flat, how sharp is sharp, but you get the general idea. Just so long as you keep even pressure all the way across and keep going until the arthritis in your elbow lets you know that you've reached a good point. The whole object of this part is to get this just as flat as possible. We've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. I can tell that is flat. It isn't going to pick up on my limited production scheme here, but you can see it. You can see in the reflection what is darker gray and what is a sheen, and it's ground down. So now we're turning over to get the face of it. And on this, we're not rocking. You don't want to rock. You want to keep the angle. You won't be able to go both ways. You just drag it. Trying to keep that angle or as close as possible. And this is all there is to this. And for somebody that's a beginner, or maybe you don't know if you want to pursue this avenue or not, and you can get some middle of the road chisels or even some cheap chisels. Get them sharp, try it out, and see. There's no sense investing in hundreds of dollars worth of premium chisels and then decide, that's really not for me. Well, now you've spent all that money and you're not even into it anymore. So you can do this with any brand, any kind. The higher dollar the chisel, the longer edge retention you're going to have because you have better steel in theory. Either way, you're going to have to get them sharp, and that's what this is all about. I'm not going to go buy a diamond plate right off the bat and spend $100 bill to do it when I can do it this way. This does work, and it does get them incredibly sharp. And this is really all there is to this. See, I'm starting to get a little sheen on there now. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's just maybe a little. And when you start seeing some progress here, you move up to the next grit. And you get to a certain point, and like I said, how sharp is sharp. Anything above, you get to 800 grit or so, that's plenty sharp for anything that you're going to want to do woodworking wise. And now we're getting a burr, which is good. And a burr is just the end, the tip of the metal is, because we've gone this way, you're peeling that up ever so slowly. You're abrading away and getting yourself a sharp edge on there. That's what we want. You will have to remove the burr, which you can do with a leather belt or a leather strop or, some rubbing compound. It's all in how much you want to get into it, but the end result of all of it is the same, is to get you sharp. And this will get you sharp. You can kind of see a little bit right here. So we're starting to get a burr, which is good. That means you're abrading the steel. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to move up to the next one. I'm going to go to 400. Now we have a definitive burr. You can see it even on this thing, because we're abrading the metal away, and that's exactly where we want to be. So a few more times on the 400, and we'll move up to 600. Alright, now we'll go to 600 grit. Each time, of course, your drag will be less noticeable because you're using finer sandpaper, but it's the same process all the way through. Not rocket science. There isn't anything difficult about this. It's just the time it's going to take you to do it. Well, you're going to have that time invested whether you have a diamond plate or sandpaper, or a grinder might be a little bit faster, but it's also, you can ruin your chisels really quickly. You turn that steel blue and you're pretty well done. Now you have a brittle steel that isn't going to hold an edge, and it's going to chip out on you, and it's just not a good thing. I would much rather do it this way and have control of it. And we're going 800, which for me, I'm as lazy as the next man, so this is good for me. I don't see any reason to continue. Myself, you want to continue, go right ahead. And some people like this. I mean, they like thoroughly enjoy to sit around at the end of the day and just sharpen stuff. All the power to you. Have a ball. I am more in pursuit of the function, and I do what I got to do to get to the functionality of it. It's not any kind of parade for me. Picnic. You can definitely see now. See that? It's working. It's pulling. It's doing what it's supposed to do. You're abrading the metal, the steel of the chisel. And this is going to be just as sharp as it can be. That's just a fact. So now you want the burr off there, which is a very simple. You're just pulling. You can do this on a piece of wood. Leather works the best, I've found. Let's see what we got here. See, this actually still could be sharper. But it is sharp. I mean, we're light years ahead of where they came out of the package. There's no great mystery to it. It's like anything. Something you have to learn. And hopefully this helped you out. demystifying the whole thing. And that's what all the, I made mention of lifting this from Paul Sellers. Isn't that what everything is about? The sharing of knowledge, giving him full credit, of course. It's a great idea. I don't know if he came up with it himself or if he got it from somebody else. That's the beauty of YouTube, is you can learn basically for free. Learn from somebody else's mistakes or learn from somebody else's wisdom. Either way. It's a great thing, I think, and like I said, it saves you the initial cost of really expensive stuff that you don't know if you're wanting to commit to that level. You can always go back and get the better stuff. But anyway, so I found great benefit to this, and I hope you have too. Alright, so we continued on the chisels from last week. Might as well continue on the pennies, huh? Before Abe Lincoln with the wheat, before the zinc and steel, before the Indian head cent, and before the flying eagle, they had large cents. Like this one. This is 1831. And it ain't showing worth a hoot. There. The film was bad. The protective film in the whole thing. That's 1831. In very worn condition. 1 cent. This is where we get the term cops from. Why they call the police cops? Way back when, they wore the uniform and it looked like British police. And they had large copper buttons on the front that looked like these. Call them coppers. And of course that shortened down to cops, and that's how we got cops for police. Where the pig thing came from, I don't know. No offense to any police. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it was beneficial. And hopefully it'll work for you if you choose to use it. I thank you kindly for watching, and we'll see you next time.